There's a junction on the A5 in Hinckley, Leicestershire that causes confusion because there are two paths of intersecting traffic that each have a give way line. And the confusion is, who goes first? Both paths of traffic have give way lines. Well, I'm on my way there now to show you how I deal with these junctions. Also, I'll explain what the road markings mean so you know what to do if you find yourself at such a junction. I'm approaching it from the branch road. I have a give way sign on my left telling me to give way in 140 yards and I'm turning right. So mirror signal right, and I'm going to need the right lane, but the right lane has an ahead arrow. And that's to stop me turning right and driving the wrong way on a dual carriageway. I should go ahead, straight across the central reservation and then turn right. I now have a double broken line to say I need to give way to this carriageway I'm about to cross. And vehicles on my left also have a double broken give way line telling them to give way before they enter the middle. We both need to give way before we enter the middle. As no one's already in the middle and there's no vehicles coming from my right, I can now make my way into the middle. But there is a single broken line here which marks the edge of the carriageway. Although it's not a give way line, you shouldn't have to have a give way line to know you must give way. I must give way before entering a carriageway. If I didn't, it would be dangerous. As you can see, there's loads of vehicles already driving on it. So I had to wait for a gap before I could proceed. Let's take a look at the road markings and what they mean. The blue traffic has a give way line, as does the red traffic. The middle area is an opening in the central reservation and is shared by both the blue and the red traffic. These lines mark the edge of the carriageway, and although they are not defined as give way lines, you must give way before crossing them. The blue traffic can queue up in the middle, as can the red traffic, but both the blue and the red traffic must leave space and not block each other's way through. It is preferred that the red traffic waits behind the give way line until it is safe to complete the manoeuvre across both the central reservation opening and the carriageway in one movement to prevent the opening in the central reservation becoming too crowded. This is part of the point in the give way line for the red traffic. It's to discourage the red traffic from waiting in the central reservation opening and to alert them to give way to traffic already in this area. But what if both the red and blue traffic are waiting at the give way line? Who goes first? Well, the red traffic will usually get the opportunity to go first as they are closest to the middle area and only have to cross one give way line to get there, whereas traffic in the blue direction need to cross a give way line and drive across a carriageway before making it to the opening in the central reservation. Also, due to the direction of the traffic on the carriageway, the red traffic will get the opportunity to cross the carriageway slightly sooner than the blue traffic. But if the exit road of the red traffic is blocked, they should make sure they leave space for the blue traffic to proceed. You're probably thinking, why is it when I'm turning right from a major road into a branch road, I don't get a give way line? I may have a ghost island. This waiting area here is known as a ghost island, but there's no give way line. I just give way to oncoming traffic and then turn into the branch road. But on this road that I just demonstrated to you, it's a dual carriageway. And as there is an opening in the central reservation, that can cause confusion as to who goes first. So they give both directions of traffic a give way line to try and make it safer. Here's what is said in the Traffic Signs Manual, Chapter 5, which is road markings, paragraph 5.5.2. Where there is likely to be driver confusion over priority within the central reservation opening, markings may be provided as shown in figure 5-12. This should help to reduce uncertainty and discourage parallel queuing of cars in this area. So there's two reasons why the major road there has a double broken line. One is to make them more cautious before entering the central reservation opening. Two is to try and prevent them from queuing in that area. The word they use is discourage them from queuing in that area. It's not illegal to queue there, but ideally traffic from this direction should be queuing up to a point where they're not blocking traffic from this direction, and the traffic from this direction should wait before the give way line until they can complete the whole junction. It does depend on the size of that central reservation opening, the layout of it. Sometimes it may be safe for cars from this direction to wait in the middle, but it depends on how much space there is. It depends how big the vehicle is and how that affects the view. I actually have one of these types of junctions very close to where I live, like 5-10 minutes away. Yet I've come 2.5 hours out here to show you this one. And that's because the junction where I live, it's small and it's quiet. The central reservation opening can barely fit one car in the middle, so you don't have a queuing issue. And as it's so quiet, most people just wait until it's empty and then go. But the junction here is busy and the central reservation opening is much larger. You can get a lot more cars queuing in the middle. And as it's busy, people are more likely to take small opportunities and cars are more likely to come in conflict with each other. If you find yourself waiting at the double broken give way line and somebody else waiting at the other one at the same time as you, don't just gun it quickly, because if they did that, then that could be dangerous. Look at each other, make eye contact, acknowledge each other, and then work it out between the two of you as to who should go first. But if you're watching them, it's unlikely going to be a problem. You actually get this situation quite often at crossroads where you're turning right and an oncoming car is also turning right, and you both have give way lines. You're crossing each other's path and you both should give way. So what do? Well, make eye contact with the other driver. If that other driver hasn't noticed you and they're oblivious to you, don't go, because they're probably going to carry on without even knowing you're there. But if you make eye contact with that driver and you acknowledge each other, you can work it out between the two of you as to who goes first. Generally, the person who's been waiting the longest is the one who goes first. But that's just etiquette. That's not a rule, so make sure you're careful. If you're driving and you come across a junction you're not quite sure about, it looks a bit different to usual, you're finding it a little bit confusing, just slow down early so that you have more time approaching it, so you've got more time to process the information. Wait at the junction if you need to. Take as much time as you need to figure out what you need to do. Don't be pressured from traffic behind into going when you're not sure it's safe. Wait until you've figured it out and only go when you know it's safe. To pass your driving test in Great Britain, you need to drive both safely and legally. So if you come across one of these types of junctions on your driving test, give way where you need to give way, queue where you can queue, but don't queue where you're blocking traffic that would otherwise have a clear path. Well, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're looking for car insurance, check out the links to Collingwood and Confused in the description. If you're learning to drive and want to insure yourself on somebody else's car, then Collingwood are there for you, because you can do so without affecting the owner's policy. And that takes away a big stress from the owner of that car that you're using to practice your driving in. Via the link at the moment, there's up to 35% off and a £20 Amazon gift card. If you want to insure your own car, I recommend checking out the link to confused.com, because you fill out one quote form and get loads of quotes back from many insurers to compare who's cheapest, and you can change your car on that quote as many times as you like without having to do the whole quote again. Just change the car and recalculate, so you can easily compare how much it costs to insure different cars. That's useful if you're shopping around for different cars and you're trying to decide which one you want. Using the links doesn't cost you anything, but it does support the channel, so thank you very much. Subscribe to get my future videos, and until the next one, cheerio.